I'm playing Titus Andronicus.
I'm playing Tamara, the Queen of Goths.
And I play Aaron, the Moor.
I'm a very successful general who's just come back from winning a long war. Amongst my prisoners of war are these two, so that's where we start.
We come back to Rome, where our play is set, and terrible things happen. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, the first non-spoiler was that you married the emperor.
Yeah, I married the emperor, that's right.
And you're having an affair with him. That's as far as we're going to go.
It's described as the bloodiest play.
It's a pretty grim play. So it's been trying to work out at the moment in this early stage of rehearsals how to manage that type of violence, I think. So I think that's what that's what I'm dealing with at the moment, is how to sort of manage, sounds peculiar, but different types of violence and different types of reaction to violence.
It's that story of violence which goes alongside the story of our characters, I guess.
Yeah.
And how to pitch that at different moments.
Yeah.
And how realistic or how abstract.
We were talking about this earlier, in that our production looks modern in appearance, but is Elizabethan in sensibility. And just trying to find the balance between that. And you know, it's incredibly pacey, that things happen really quickly, and you don't have, you know, like the kind of slow burn psychological drama, the plotty, the moody valley moments. It just kind of happens, and everything happens quite immediately and quite ruthlessly.
A friend of mine who played Titus years ago said, before I started, he said, it's grief piling on grief, and it really does, doesn't it? It's just an acceleration of, although hopefully, no, actually I was about to say there's hopefully a happy end, but there isn't really, is there?
There is black humour, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a scene which we haven't actually looked at carefully yet, but it's where I'm asked to chop off my hand and give it to the emperor. This is an indication of what sort of play it is. And between me, my sister and my son, we argue about whose hand should go, which is just absurd. No, I'll send my hand. No, I'm going to send my hand. No, so, yeah, you're right. But it'll be interesting to know where we settle on the comedy.
Yeah.
Because the kind of catharsis after a bloody moment, that release of laughter could be useful.
It's actually gallows humour, isn't it? Yes. It's gallows humour.
I mean, we've talked so much about violence and blood and revenge, and there is something in there that's about sorrow and grief and suffering, and it would be nice to feel that people understood that and felt that.
Yeah, and also felt hurt that sometimes it has nowhere to go. It just has nowhere to go.
There's a quote, hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
I heard that as well.
Sorrow concealed, like an oven stopped, doth burn the heart to cinders where it is. And that's a Marsha line.
Yeah, very good.
Marcus is Marsha in our show. Yeah.
Do it again.
No, you did.
yeah.
Sorrow concealed.
No, you did it better. Sorrow concealed, like an oven stopped, doth burn the heart to cinders where it is. It's where it is, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Inside. You can't escape it.
I think power in the play shifts all the time. And even characters that don't appear powerful have influence if they don't have power. I think that's quite interesting, that characters which we associate with powers like empresses and emperors and kings suddenly become undercut by somebody who's an underdog or a prisoner or something.
The character of Aaron, he has so much agency. I think there are many topics in the play, and race is definitely one of them amongst the others. And he is subjected to a lot of abuse. And it can be very easy or understandable for him to be a victim and complain about his circumstances or others' behaviour, but he don't play with that. Like, he goes to the other extreme and he says, all right, well, I'm just going to burn the whole house down. And in some senses, that's a respectable position because he's got control and agency.
Just thinking about it more, I think I'm also interested in how differently grief and loss can present in different people.
I think for me, the challenge is more of a personal one of kind of like opening Pandora's box and like releasing all the things that I've or that I have to subdue on like a daily basis, whether that be rage or anger at the world or anger
injustice.
and mistreatment, and kind of I as a person close that to go out into the world. And Aaron is someone who releases it and feels it viscerally, continually. And so I think that is going to be the challenge for 2 hours, just sitting in that rage. So, yeah.
In a funny way, Titus goes beyond grief, doesn't he? He sort of has a very famous moment in the play when he laughs, just at the worst moment of horror. And he laughs, and his sister says, "Why are you laughing?" And he says, I've not got another tear to shed. He sort of shuts himself off, he bricks himself in and bides his time for when he can fully express, as Natey says, his own anger, but it's rather a sort of calm anger by the time he gets there. So I think I've been looking at that really. Also very simple things about Shakespeare. You have to do we all have to do the verse stuff, these plays, because they're great plays. But part of the reason why they're great is they're always sort of relevant, aren't they? Look, it's a hugely violent play. It's a play where torture is seen, and powerful people use rape as a weapon of war. How much further do you need to go to say, well, that's exactly what we're seeing around us, and we have seen it for all my lifetime. It's always been there that people will use these things to terrorize their fellow human beings. So I mean, relevance is always a funny thing with Shakespeare, isn't it? Because you think, yeah, it's always been like this, and he knew that.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite a good reflection on what do we do in order to maintain peace and stability? What is the price we pay? And how is violence honor in some ways and revenge in other ways? And how does that frame our thinking of what needs to be done to maintain the peace and stability that we all want to enjoy? Yeah.
It's a difficult one because you always want your art to kind of be a social commentary and comment on society, and sometimes the audience just come to maybe witness violence that they don't or have the ability or desire to enact themselves. But we can't deny that we have lived and do live in a violent world. And for me, it is the justification of the anger which is the most interesting part for me. Think about who really is the villain.
I'm smiling at that. Thus speaks the villain.
My favourite line is one of Titus's in Act 3, Scene 2, which is, "Poor harmless fly, that with his pretty buzzing melody came here to make us merry, and thou hast killed him."
Should we explain it?
It's your scene?
It's a very famous scene when my sister kills a fly at dinner, and Titus, who's just seen ghastly things happen, gets absolutely furious with her for killing a fly, and he starts that speech by saying, "How if that fly had a father and a mother," which is one of my favourite lines. Yeah. And he's furious with his sister.
My favourite line from this play is, "Vengeance is in my heart, death in my hand, blood and revenge are hammering in my head."
Good one.
There you go. Yeah, there's nothing else on his mind but revenge.
I'll have to say the laugh, I think, is amazing. This famous laugh that Titus does at the very depths of hell. And it's written out, ha, 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 ha. That's what Shakespeare wanted. But also, there is also a bit when he says, I am as one that stands upon a rock, surrounded by a wilderness of sea. And then later says, I am the sea. He's just so overwhelmed by sorrow. And he says, my daughter's the wind, and I am the sea.